Welcome to Module 7 of the Documenting NEPA Categorical Exclusion course, brought to you by the Local Programs Office of the Washington State Department of Transportation. This module will cover Section 7 of the Endangered Species Act. You may find it helpful to follow along with the CE form, which is available on the Local Programs Environmental Services website. There are multiple modules hosted on our website, so be sure to watch them all.
Hello, in this section we're going to talk about the Endangered Species Act of 1973 and essential fish habitat as administered by the Magnuson-Stevens Act. If you happen to have a project that's more complex and cannot be documented just on the CE form as far as ESA is concerned, the Washington State Department of Transportation has a suite of information to guide you through everything from a simple no-effect letter to a no-effect memo through an informal consultation and a formal consultation. If you happen to be a biologist working for a local agency listening to this, consider taking the Washington State Department of Transportation Biological Assessment Guidance, which typically happens every few years under normal circumstances, but due to COVID, is not currently scheduled for the foreseeable future. If you work for a local agency and are not a biologist, consider if you need a BA to be written for your project, consider contracting with an environmental consultant that has been through the Washington State Department of Transportation Biological Assessment Guidance. They'll be much more familiar with what the expectations are for an adequate ESA biological assessment. The CE form presents a very streamlined and quick way to determine whether or not your project may impact listed species. The CE form covers the entire state of Washington, so it is likely that the vast majority of species on the CE form will not even be in your project area. This is a continuation of the list of ESA species that could occur in your project area, as well as questions about what may occur on your particular project that help to identify and narrow down where you could be dealing with ESA species. As indicated by the red arrow in the previous slide, stormwater in Washington State is an evolving area that needs to be considered for your project. If your project is adding new pollution generating impervious surface, or PGIS, that isn't infiltrating and may reach waters with listed species, that is now going to require an additional level of analyses. The Regional Road Maintenance Program, or RRMP, is an agreement that allows several organizations, there's 37 currently, to conduct lots of maintenance-like projects and be covered for ESA consultation and EFH consultation with NIMS, which helps to streamline the consultation process. To determine what U.S. Fish and Wildlife listed species may be in your project area, go to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife IPAC website. IPAC stands for Information Planning and Consultation System, and you can draw either a line or a polygon to reflect what type of project you have, and that website will generate a list that you can then use to help guide you through your CE form. For species under NOAA NIMS jurisdiction, use the NOAA Fisheries Protected Resources App website to determine what species and critical habitats may occur in the vicinity of your project. Essential fish habitat, or EFH, is defined as those waters and substrate necessary for fish spawning, breeding, feeding, or growth to maturity. An adverse effect determination for EFH is based on all aspects of the project and not just the completed project. So the completed project may have beneficial effects to EFH, but if the project itself during construction impacts EFH, it's still an adverse effect. Adverse effect calls should be made if the action results in quantity or quality. So if it results in a quality impact, i.e. more stormwater, even though there's no in-water work, that could be an adverse effect. In Washington state, there are some areas that do not contain EFH for Pacific salmon. There's no EFH upstream of Chief Joseph Dam on the Columbia River main stem. There's no Pacific salmon EFH in areas of either natural or other man-made obstacles. And as far as coastal pelagic and Pacific coast groundfish, EFH may occur in Southwest region, Olympic region, and Northwest region. A browser search for NOAA EFH mapper will get you there, and you can zoom into the area where your project occurs to determine if there may be EFH. Finally, we come to the overall effects determination page, where you will identify what the effect determination is for both NIMS and U.S. Fish and Wildlife species, as well as the EFH determination. Even if the project will require either an informal or formal consultation, this is where you will indicate what consultation was and when you either received a letter of concurrence for an informal consultation or a biological opinion for a formal consultation, or if you were able to use the RRMP for NIMS listed species. You'll also indicate what the EFH determination was on this sheet as well.
Thank you for watching this module of the Documenting NEPA Categorical Exclusion course. There are other modules available on our website, so be sure to check them out.